name is Rachel, and I'm the donation coordinator with Children's Care Arizona. If you're receiving this, it's because you are a parent who is interested in finding out more information on how you can support your child and the organization they're attending, whether it be a school, a sports program, a summer camp, preschool, whatever it might be. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to share with you what our program offers, and I'm going to do that by sharing my screen. And I'm going to go through a very quick presentation. I promise it won't take long. So who is Children's Care Arizona? We're a 501c3 nonprofit organization as well as a qualified charitable organization. This status allows us to receive dollar-for-dollar tax credit donations, which I'm going to go into in a little bit more detail later. We support low-income families with various child care services. So child care services is defined as 2 or more students or children attending the event. Parents can drop off and leave, and there's a cost for this activity. So this could be preschool tuition, before and after school care, summer camps, extracurricular activities. It could be a sports program at a school. It could be a sports program outside of a school, like club teams and so forth. We also provide grant funding for the organization that allows them to purchase things like supplies, materials, equipment, even to support some families that may be struggling financially but don't necessarily qualify as low income. The Arizona Department of Revenue defines a qualified charitable organization as those that provide immediate benefits to families on TANF, our low-income residents, or children who have chronic disability. So as mentioned, we focus on the low-income aspects. So let's talk about what a tax credit is. So a tax credit reduces an individual's tax liability on a dollar-for-dollar basis up to the maximum allowable amount. So what's nice is in the state of Arizona, residents can actually choose to redirect their state tax liability to 5 different types of organizations, one of them being a qualified charitable organization such as Children's Care Arizona. It's actually really cool. So one of the things that's even better about this type of program is you can donate to more than one type of organization up to your state tax liability. So for instance, if your child attends a public school and you're filing joint, you can make a donation of $400 to the public school and then with us for $800. So if you have even more tax credits than or tax liability, then what you can do is apply them towards another organization, whether it be like a student tuition organization or a foster care type organization. So what's a tax deduction? A tax deduction reduces an individual's tax income. So for every dollar an individual claims as a tax deduction, their taxable income is reduced by $1. So let's talk about the difference between the two so that you can kind of see it with some numbers. It'll make it a little bit easier. So over here we have our tax credit. So you can see John and Judy Smith, so they're filing joint. They make an income of $50,000 with a tax rate of 15%. It's $7,500 that they owe to the state. Now let's say they decide that they don't want to pay the state the full $7,500, right? They can choose to send $800 to Children's Care Arizona, which is the maximum allowable amount. They could also then donate $2,483 to a private school. They also could do $400 to a public school. So their total tax liability to be paid to the state is $3,817. Now what this is allowing them to choose where their money goes rather than paying it directly to the state and allowing the state to make the determination. Now here's an example of a tax donation. So again, same information, $50,000 tax rate, $7,500, but they make a tax donation of $500 to Goodwill. They can reduce their tax liability, their overall tax liability to $7,000. But this option is all paid to the state. They're not making donations to other organizations. So most of the questions that come next is, can I do both? Because most people like to do both. Well, great, the answer is yes. So here's how it would look. You have $50,000, 15% like we talked about, $7,500. Then we have the tax deduction, which would be like the Goodwill donation. The actual liability is $7,000. And here we go. We see Children's Care Arizona is $800, private school, public school. So now all they're paying directly to the state would be $3,317 as opposed to the $7,000. So you're taking this money and you're choosing where you want your tax dollars to go towards. So as we talked about earlier, there are maximum allowable amounts. So if you're filing joint, it's $800. If you're filing single, it's $400. You can only receive credit up to your state tax liability amount, okay? But let me make this clear. If you want to pay more than what your state tax liability is, you're welcome to do so. It's just the difference would be utilized as a tax deduction. So let's say you want to pay the full $800, and let's say your maximum allowable is $800 and your state tax liability happens to be $800, but you want to make a donation of $1,000. You could pay $1,000, $200 could actually become a tax deduction, and the $800 would be the tax credit. Here in this specific type of organization, you can't say that this goes towards a student or an athlete. You can specify the organization to receive your donation, but you can't say you want it to go to a specific family. You do make the payment through Children's Care Arizona's website, and then you take that receipt to your tax advisor and put it on your tax return. So low-income scholarships, this explains how our funds are used. So first we have our low-income scholarships, because that's 75% of the money gets earmarked towards that. So things for preschool tuition, before and after school care, summer camps, extracurricular activities, and more. Low-income scholarships are for those families that qualify, which is based on 150% of the federal poverty level. You do submit an application through Children's Care Arizona, and we review it based on the number of people in your family and what the annual household income is. As long as you meet the federal poverty level at 150%, you would be eligible for low income. As we talked about before, grant funds can be used for so many things. I mean, literally, the sky is the limit. It just depends. So how are ways that you can support? Well, one is you can make a donation. Depending on what your state tax liability is, we would ask that you make as much of a donation as you can towards the organization. Let's say you don't have the ability to make a donation. Not a problem. One of the ways we can do is you can spread the word to your Arizona network. Things like sharing on social media, talking to your friends and family that live within Arizona and asking them to consider contributing to your organization through Children's Care Arizona. Or you even have the opportunity of volunteering. So reach out to your organization and see if there's a way that you can support. They always are looking for things like maybe posting flyers, if you could help with face-to-face interactions, share it on social media. There's a lot that can be done. So reach out and see if there's something that you can support with. All right, that's it. That's what Children's Care Arizona is all about. We thank you so much for taking the time to learn about our organization, and we hope that you can make the donations and spread the word so that we can continue helping the children of Arizona. Thank you so much and have a great day.